It means an enormous amount to me, and it also shows the progress that surfing has made.
You know, surfing is synonymous with Australia.
It's not every day you get to frock up and walk down the hallways of Parliament House.
Surfing, I think, is pretty mainstream Australia, and you ought to be here along with the rugby league and the soccer and everyone else who turns up, so it's great to see you here.
And I think we're going to have a fun night.
In true testament to the evolution of our sport, tonight Surfing Australia has been invited to Parliament House for the inaugural Surfing Legends Dinner. The event is held by the Sports Advocacy Group, an independent body which aims to combine the expertise of the sports industry with the needs and aspirations of the Australian public to provide a voice for sport. How did this whole event evolve?
Well, because I want Australian sport to stay at the top, and it's been at the top for 25 years, and to keep it at the top you have to keep affecting the key opinion leaders, the policy makers, and getting them to actually deliver 21st century ideas so that sports can thrive.
The federal government is such a big fan and supporter of surfing in Australia. Why do you think our sport is so important?
Well, for a number of reasons. First of all, it's part of our culture and our self-identity. You know, you think of great surfers and you do think of Australia, and with such a high proportion of our population living on the beach, everyone's had a little bit of exposure to the sport one way or another. So it's a huge part of our popular culture.
Honourable Wayne Swan.
We don't need to use honourable.
You don't need to? But you're still in a suit, so I feel like I need to.
Yeah, well, I can hardly stand here in board shorts, could I?
You're the self-appointed Minister of Surfing. What are you hoping that we get out of tonight's dinner?
I hope that we connect better and we can work together in the future. I mean, I think it's already happening, but why wouldn't you be here and talking to parliamentarians and everybody else about things that matter to your sport?
Our beautiful coastline. And we can take that out to the world, because the one thing is what us young Australians get, and I don't see anywhere else in the world, is this affinity with the ocean.
What we've got to do is make sure that that surfing in Australia is noticed here in Canberra, and I think you certainly are.
This is a chance for us to be heard, to get our voice out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our time to shine. It's our time to tell our story, and I think there's no better way to tell your story than in person, but also, you know, really demonstrate it and show where we're going and where we're headed with the sport. So it's a great moment for Surfing Australia, but importantly for surfing as a sport.
I got second to Tom in '84, and I'm just starting to deal with it now.
What are you hoping comes out of tonight?
I think it's a little bit of paying back to the government, because the government's been so supportive of us. So we're not looking for anything. I think it's just, you know, a little bit of paying the rent and just saying this is who we are and this is what we are.
You know, I knew that soon, you know, there'd be professional people, there'd be doctors, there'd be accountants, there'd be politicians would be very proud to call themselves surfers. I feel quite humbled.
And they are just amazing ambassadors, aren't they?
Incredible ambassadors, and I think one of the best things about our ambassadors is they speak from the heart.
And I can't think of a more blessed position to be in than to be a professional surfer.
We have contributed to the fabric of sports in Australia a lot, haven't we?
Look, you have, and I think one of the great things about surfing too is that it does have that iconic association with beaches and lifestyle. You know, I think the wonderful role models that surfing generates in Australia, so many of them, like Liam Beachley, have gone on to become spokespeople for sports well beyond surfing itself.
Did you ever think that you'd be here, that surfing would be brought to Parliament House?
No. It's really important that the government figures here tonight, who invest millions of dollars into our sport, especially through a Surfing Australia, recognise that we're taking ourselves very seriously as well.
Do you have a bit of a man crush on Tom Carroll and Rabbit?
Well, I hadn't met Tom before, but I have met a number of the others. And I didn't realise just how wiry and small Tom was. I mean, it gives me even more respect for the fact he can take on those waves.
It's pretty amazing. It's kind of unbelievable, really. And the fact that as we were walking in, we had that, you know, kind of serendipitous moment with Julia Gillard and Lanes. They kind of bing.
Running into Julia Gillard and going, "Oh, hi, Julia." And she's like, "Hey, Lane." And I said, "You know, we weren't allowed to have a photo in front of your office." She said, "Oh, come on in."
The other thing is, because it's a sport and a well-run sport, it introduces a way of life that's really active and healthy, and a lot of other things come with a surfing culture.
It is an absolute honour for us to be here, and we thank you because you have been a huge supporter of us.
Well, we continue to excel in the world, but it's good that they've taken the time to come here and talk to us. We feel very privileged.
If that's not just, I guess, a display of surfing making it in the Australian landscape and being taken seriously, then what is?